Oh, hey, hi, how's it going? This is the John Cast podcast. Welcome into this podcast. Thanks for supporting the podcast, following, subscribing. Thank you for sharing this podcast with friends, leaving comments on Spotify. It's all good. Thank you for that. Coming up on today's podcast, I've got some pregame interviews to catch up with. I've got Maile Chan from earlier this season. I've got Allie Andrew from the Washington match. I've got John Shondell before the Oregon match. I'll play all those interviews for you coming up in just a minute. The Kelly Sheffield Show will air Friday night on ESPN Madison ahead of the Badgers' big matchup against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I'll play a clip from Kelly coming up in a moment talking about that matchup against Nebraska. A couple of things just wanted to keep everybody updated on. I gave a shout out to Volleyball Minis last time during this podcast. And it's an Instagram account. You should go follow them. It's really funny. And I failed to give a shout out to Jesse Temple from Badger Connect. I'm sorry, Jesse Temple, if you're listening. Badger Connect, Jesse Temple. If you missed it, back in early October, he did an article, wrote a piece about me and my background in the broadcasting career and how I got the job at Wisconsin and just everything I do to prepare for a match. And it's, I thought it was really well done. My mom loved it. I loved it. So yeah, I think you should go check out Badger Connect and Jesse Temple if you haven't. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to Jesse. I do have that somewhere on my X account. If you scroll through, I've got the link there. I know Jesse posted it. Badger Connect posted it as well. It's on their website. But yeah, just a little bit of background of me, how I got started back in 2008 when they came up to me at the old job and they said, "Hey, you want to start calling volleyball matches?" And I was like, "Yes, absolutely. Let's do it." And then at the same time, I'm like, I don't even know a thing about volleyball. I have no clue about anything volleyball related. So kind of goes through that and, just what I've been doing to try to be better, just trying to be better. That's all I'm trying to do. Trying to get a little bit better every time. Listening to the game film. Oh, just quit saying that word. You sound dumb. Start doing this, those type of things. So shout out to Jesse Temple. Let's see here. The Badgers are back from the Pacific Northwest. That was fun. Got to go to Seattle, Washington. We've got the whole Seattle upper Pacific Northwest experience because it rained a lot while the team was there, but got to check out Pike's Place. Got to watch Kelly catch a fish. I didn't catch a fish. I don't think I would be able to catch the fish. No, I think I could, but man, those things it's a fish. It's slimy and awkward. I don't even know if I'd probably drop it and get it all over my sweatshirt or whatever. But that was fun. Went to the first Starbucks, the first ever Starbucks, established, I think it was in 1971. Had myself a little cup of coffee. That was fun. Checked out Pike's Place Market. What I like about that place, if you've never been, is you go to a lot of cities and there's like tourist places and they all sell stuff like made in China or something like that. You know what I mean? Just like stuff. This seemed like I bought a little bag for my daughter with a little zipper from somebody who made it and designed it themselves. And it's just locally made. I almost bought a leather bound journal. I mean, it's stuff that's just locally made. So that's what I think is really cool about that. I also went to the Space Needle. I don't know if you've been there. It's pretty cool. Got to see the city. Mount Rainier was visible off in the distance. So I took a picture. So that was fun. Then went to Eugene, Oregon, where it rained. I did go a little bit downtownish, or I don't even know if it's downtown. I'm not familiar with Eugene. I've only been there once. Went to the mall in Eugene. It was like any other mall you'd see in any other city. But went downtown, I guess, Fifth Street, maybe Fifth Avenue. I'm not sure. It was fine. It was fine. It rained. Kelly had to walk back from the football game. I do know that he and Kevin had to walk back in the rain because there weren't enough Ubers. I mean, I think if you know somebody that lives in Eugene, you should say, "Hey, you want to make a little side cash? Drive an Uber during the game day because apparently there's not enough of them." So there was that. What else? Here, hold on. I got these glasses. I didn't really get these glasses. These are, if you're watching on Spotify, cheaters, I think they're called. I'm getting old. And so this really helps. I don't know. For those who have readers, I didn't realize how much this really, really helps. Like, you know how when you go to the eye doctor and they're like, number one or number two, number one or number two. And sometimes it's like nothing, but sometimes it's like, oh, number two for sure. It's like just a touch clear, but you can tell. That's what these readers are like. And so I use them now when I'm looking at my phone for hours upon hours on a day, or looking at the computer. I'm not going to put them on because I think they look kind of weird. I might have to. These are just ones we had here in the house, but shout out to readers because they work really well. Oh, here's the other thing I was going to say. If you haven't checked out the Setters podcast, that's still on this podcast, the John Cast podcast with Lauren Carlini, Sydney Hilly, and Charlie Furbringer. Thought that was well done. Thank you for the reception on that. I've had a lot of people come up to me and say they really enjoyed that podcast. You can also catch they've cut it up for the Badger Sports Report, which you can catch on NBC 15 and FanDuel Sports Network, I believe, as well on cable. You can just go 26 on Charter if you have Charter Spectrum, and you can just go find the next time it's going to air, and you can watch that. They've cut it into 3 different parts. So I think the last part is going to be airing this week. So thank you to the Badger Sports Report. So you can check it out there, or just go to the podcast, listen to the whole unedited version of that. And then I had fun at the Oregon match with Jess Williams because she and I did this thing where we snuck in all of the Taylor Swift titles, titles of the songs from Life of a Showgirl throughout the broadcast. So if you caught that, good on you for catching those. But we snuck in, like, I think I said Knock on Wood. One of the titles is Wood of a song. Jess had also said Wood. I didn't even catch it. Like, she had said it at the very start of the broadcast, talking about the wood floor underneath the Terraflex floor at Oregon. I didn't catch it. And then, like, a minute or so into the broadcast, I'm like, knock on wood that doesn't happen again. And I'm like, and I looked down at our sheet we had where we were keeping track of everything. I was like, oh, she already said it. Didn't hear it. So one got by me is my point. But that was fun. I always liked doing that. We did that once with 1989 when the re-release came out of 1989. And I think there are more tracks on that. And they seemed like Welcome to New York. Like, how are you gonna do that? So these were a little easier, like Honey, Wood, Canceled at the Net. Canceled is the name, not Canceled at the Net. But Life of a Showgirl was kind of tough, and so was Elizabeth Taylor. But anyway, I'm trying to put together a clip of that, but ESPN Madison now uses announcer cam on YouTube. So you can also listen to the matches while watching myself and Pete or myself and Jess on these broadcasts on announcer cam. And I don't know how to edit video. I'm trying to edit that. I don't know when we're going to get this whole compilation of all the times we use the Taylor Swift songs in the broadcast. If I can figure out how to edit video, I'll do that. So I don't know. I'll ask ChatGPT. It's a pretty good, useful thing sometimes, ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT. I know I'm talking a lot on this podcast. I used ChatGPT recently to fix my computer. I felt like an IT guy. It told me to reboot in a certain way and do this and click on that. And now I'm going to get Windows 11. Otherwise, my computer is like, you don't have Windows 11. Your security is going to end. I'm like, what are you talking about? I can't get Windows 11. This thing's a beast. And I asked ChatGPT, and it's like, here, try this. I felt like IT. I was the Geek Squad. Yes, I felt like the Geek Squad. This is where I pick up the recording, because after I got done with this podcast, guess what happened, everybody? If you're familiar with a few weeks ago, I started skipping. I had to re-record a podcast. I was very bitter about it. I'm very bitter about this as well. So this is me re-recording this podcast because up until me talking about the Geek Squad, it started going crazy again. All right, let's get to Kelly Sheffield. Badgers take on number 1 ranked and undefeated Nebraska coming up Friday at the Fieldhouse. You can listen on ESPN Madison, 620 WTMJ, ESPN Beaver Dam, and of course on the ESPN Wisconsin app. So I asked the head coach what it's going to take to beat the undefeated Cornhuskers. Here is a clip from the Kelly Sheffield Show from this week.
It's a great team. It's experienced team. We've certainly seen these players around. They've been together. They're playing well. They've got a setter that they're very familiar with each of their attackers. They're playing at a high level. I mean, it's a great challenge. It's a great opportunity to see where we're at right now against an elite team, and This has been a great battle over the years between these two programs, and the level of play has been really, really high. No matter who has won, I mean, both sides you've had some 5-setters, and both sides you've had some 3-0 sweeps, but every single time you've had elite play that has been pretty inspiring, and I would expect nothing less of what we're going to see here in the Fieldhouse this weekend.
I guess when you look at Nebraska, Harper Murray obviously stands out. I do want to talk about their middles because I think their middles are, very good too. But what does Harper Murray do well?
She brings it all together. I mean, she just plays the game. She competes. She's fearless out there on the court. She's got some, there's a lot of players that carry a lot of swagger to them, and winning will do that. Putting work in will help you get to that point. But she just plays the game. She passes, she defends, she serves. She's dynamic blocker, big time hitter out of the front row and back row. It's in baseball you call her a 5-tool player. She's certainly that and more in volleyball.
When you look at this Wisconsin offense and what it's capable of with Mimi Collier and all the other attackers, and you look at the defense that Nebraska brings, where opponents are hitting, I forget the number, it's low 100s, and they've got these middle blockers that can put up big defensive numbers. They got great Laney Choboy in the back row and Mauk too. That just seems like a fun matchup. Like, how do you attack that type of defense?
John, it's not like this is the first year they've been elite defensively, right?
No.
I mean, that's what is different is they're hitting at a lot higher level than what they've done in the past. So, I think elite players love to be challenged, right? And it's challenging to score against this team, and there's nothing new with that. That'll be more of a challenge with so many players on our team that are playing their first Wisconsin-Nebraska match. We don't have a lot of those. And so how they manage that in the moment will be pretty important. But I would guess this group will lean into the fact that they've got an elite team that is making it very, very difficult on the other side of the net. Because if you don't get in that mindset, then why do you come to a school like Wisconsin?
Right.
It should be an awesome battle.
There you go. That's head coach Kelly Sheffield. Once again, the Badgers and the Cornhuskers, 7:30, the pre-match show. First serve at 8:05 on the ESPN Wisconsin app and all those stations I talked about just a moment ago. All right. Before the UCLA match, I had a chance to catch up with Wisconsin DS Maile Chan as I catch up with all of these pre-match interviews. In case you missed them, here is the Badgers sophomore ahead of the UCLA match. So how do you think the team responded to Friday night, obviously beating Maryland 1-1 in the weekend, heading into 2 top 25 teams?
I think Maryland was a great opportunity for us to implement some changes we talked about. Obviously, Penn State was a great opportunity for us to see what weaknesses we had, and then a few days later we were able to try to make those changes, and I think we responded really well.
Can you talk about your mindset when you come into a match? Because many times it's Kelly just bringing you off the bench to serve, and usually like in a crucial situation too. What is your mindset?
For me, it's trying to do as much as I can with my role, and I know when Kelly brings me in, it's because he trusts me. So my goal when I'm coming in to serve or defend or pass, it's trying to get our team as many points as possible and trying to stay ready off the bench.
Talking with Maile Chan. So the latest episode of Driven, this is a YouTube series in case anyone hasn't checked it out yet. I highly recommend it. You talked about your most recent mission trip to Thailand. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Yeah, Thailand was an amazing opportunity. My grandma and grandpa are part of a church group who helped build kindergartens around Thailand. So we went and visited, helped finish up building, and then really got to see the fruits of their labors. And it was a really great opportunity for us, and me especially, to talk to the kids and learn from their stories. Like,
for me, the biggest thing was to see how grateful they were for whatever they had. Like, a lot of these kids didn't have shoes to play volleyball, like didn't have water accessible to them. They had to walk like an hour to get to their nearest water like spout. So it was really inspiring to see any like people from all over with any level of wealth and resources, like you can still be happy, which I thought was really inspiring.
Yeah, and I thought something interesting from that too. You talked about how maybe this has inspired you to create a sustainable clothing brand for people in need. Can you tell me about the thought process behind that?
Yeah, I have always been super interested in fashion and expressing myself through that. So when I went to Thailand, like being able to bring something I'm passionate about, like clothing, and also like volleyball gear, volleyball shoes, bring those two together and see how positive of an impact that made on them was kind of the turning point for me, where it was like, I want to be able to take this further and keep bringing that to people.
Thanks, Maile.
Thank you so much.
There you go. That is Maile Chan ahead of the UCLA match. Now, in case you missed it, I had a chance to speak with middle blocker Allie Andrew ahead of Wisconsin's matchup last Friday at Washington. Allie is from the state of Washington, and here's that conversation. So why did you choose to transfer to Wisconsin?
This has been a big-time program and a pretty infamous program for a long time. I think that they have cultivated like an amazing culture of athletes that like want to push each other to be better, and they want to grow not only as athletes but as people. And I think these coaches really pride themselves on how can we train and make each skill better. And so I think they do a really good job of training players to get to the next level, and just it's a heck of a program. So I'm just honored to be a part of it.
How would you describe the team's blocking 8 times this season? As a team, you guys have had 10 or more blocks in a match. How would you describe the blocking at the net?
Yeah, I think blocking is a big part of our culture. I think it's a big emphasis for us in our gym. I think that we've got a lot of size on this team, and it's really important that we utilize that, especially in such a big skill as blocking. I think that making sure that defense is our backbone and we're shutting balls down at the net or getting good touches for our back row.
Talking with Allie Andrew, so you were a basketball player before you played volleyball. Right. Yeah, when did you get into volleyball and how'd you get into it?
Yeah, so originally my plan was to play basketball in college. I played club basketball and in high school. I really loved it. My dad played, and so that's the path I thought I was on. I got thrown into a volleyball camp, I want to say I was 13, maybe, and my mom signed me up for a camp, and I loved it, had a blast, and then I went to tryouts, started playing club, and then from then on, and played in high school, went to club, and decided that, nope, this is what I want to play in college, and switched the script a little bit.
Pretty good choice, I think.
Yeah.
The team recently, obviously in here in Seattle, ready to face Washington, had a chance to go to Seattle, see the fish market, see, a bunch of cool things. The Space Needle, that's what I was trying to say. What would you like most about going out and about?
Oh, goodness. So I'm from the Pacific Northwest, so anytime I get to go home is really exciting. It was really fun to kind of see my team in this environment. I think probably a highlight was when Kelly got to catch the fish at Pike Place Market, and so did Carter, and it's her birthday too, so for her to get to catch the fish, experience that was really fun.
You mentioned you're from Washington. Will you have a lot of family and friends at the match?
I will. I think I'll have a big cheering section tomorrow night, which will be a blast. I think I have my family, extended family, and then a lot of hometown friends that I've never got to play in front of, so I'm really excited to have that happen.
It's really cool. And finally, this question is from my daughter. She asks, what other position would you play if you weren't playing middle?
Okay, so this is totally not realistic, but my dream when I first started out for volleyball was to be a libero. I am probably the worst option for a libero, but in my head, I could do it because I'm long, so it takes like one step. But yeah, my dream position would be a libero. Yeah.
Thanks, Allie.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, there you go. That is Allie Andrew, in case you missed it. And my final pre-match interview I want to catch up everybody with is John Shondell, new assistant coach for the Badgers. And before the Oregon match, I had a chance to speak with John Shondell and get to know him a little bit more. Here's that interview. So how did you end up here as an assistant at Wisconsin?
Well, Kelly started talking to me about it last May, and it's built up a little bit more momentum as the summer went on. And with the Ignite, they had a coaching change, and I wasn't sure where I was going to be with the Ignite, and even how stable the league even is. It's kind of year to year, and then Kelly convinced me to come here, and I've really enjoyed it ever since I've been here. It's been a great experience so far.
Yeah, your teaching of techniques and fundamentals is what others say about you as some of the strong suits of you as a coach. What are your thoughts on that when you hear that, and what else are they missing?
Well, I think that goes back to my family, my brother and my father, and that's kind of where Kelly learned it too. We all came up under the same tutelage. I think my brother Steve is probably as good as anyone in the world at teaching fundamental skills. And Kelly and I both were able to coach under him for 3 or 4 years, and he really taught us everything. And being an elementary PE major, that's what I was. I learned how to, I think, relate to people at all ages and all skill levels. And even back home, I would do lessons with 9, 10, 11-year-old kids all the way up through high school. And working with so many different people, you just kind of figure out what makes, how to push buttons and what makes things work. It's been pretty good.
Yeah. How long have you known Kelly? Kelly says you guys have known each other for a long time.
Kelly and I were in a summer school class, and we were in 2nd grade at Muncie Burris, and I went to a different school, but I took summer school there, and then we went to the same school. I switched schools to Muncie Burris in 7th grade, so we've known each other. We've been schoolmates and teammates since 7th grade.
All right, very cool. I do want to get kind of your thoughts too on the win on Friday at Washington. During the broadcast, Jess had mentioned something about, at the very end when the challenge happens, like she was looking at you or something like that and said, John just said to Kelly to challenge that. Could you talk about what happened there at the end with that challenge that Wisconsin wins?
It was really close, and I just looked at the blocker, and she looked like she might have touched it. So I said, Kelly, challenge that. We have 2 challenges left, and last match we challenged early, so I know he was reluctant to challenge early because it came back to burn us a little bit against USC, but we had 2 left. I said, Kelly, don't leave them in your pocket. Let's use one. And he used it and ended up being a pretty good challenge.
Well, welcome to Madison. Thanks for the time.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
That's John Shondell. I apologize for that crackling noise. I think I've solved that issue. Not to get too deep into the weeds on this, but I have a cord that I connect the microphone to that I connect to my phone. And for whatever reason, I tested this week and I found out turning airplane mode on stops that little interference noise. I don't know why. That's the only recording app that needs to have airplane mode on. I can record videos with that microphone. It sounds perfect. I can use the voice memo app. It sounds great. So for whatever reason, that's the case. I think I cracked the case of the interference there. Not that anybody cares. All right, there you go. That's the podcast this week. Hopefully, no more re-records. I'm still not bitter about it at all, I swear. But thanks for listening this week. Kelly Sheffield Show comes out this week too, so stay tuned for that on this podcast. And yeah, thanks for supporting this podcast, liking, following, leaving comments on Spotify. I appreciate it. And that's it. This has been the John Cast Podcast. Goodbye.